Alright guys, so the next nodes have dropped, and obviously I'm going to be out here to make sure that you are able to get it done without no Koyenskaya, no Oberon, no Buster farming, because that's a little bit too easy. And I know there are a lot of people in my audience who have not gotten Oberon. Even though he got an early return, they still whiffed on him. You know, they were not able to get Koyenskaya on her return for New Year's. So I'm always going to be out here to try to make sure that you're able to do these 90 plus and 90 plus nodes in a more limited setup. Now, this one's not all that bad. Obviously, I know some people are going to say, but I don't have Castoria either. Don't worry, you can sub out the Castoria for a waiver in this type of setup. You just might need to adjust who your looper is, because for this node, you know, for part 2, I guess, of the Lotto, so to speak, I'm going to at least be assuming that you are able to clear out the shop, not fully, but just to get the different CEs, because I was able to do that without really using any apples. I just kind of was moderately farming because the nodes aren't as good, but I still wanted to make sure that I was able to walk away with at least all of the shop CEs so I could at least get decent performance for part 2 and part 3. Now, the setup I'm using right here is I'm using Ryoma because you don't need to invest in his second skill at all, and he's a free-to-play NP5 unit. His second skill is a flat 10% NP for himself, which is very, very nice because it's kind of like waivers. You don't have to invest in it at all in order to get the NP effect, which is arguably the stronger effect on his skill. So very similar to how waiver is very free-to-play friendly in that if you just need the NP, you can leave him at 111 until you have the materials and the QP to level him up. He's great for that, but he also gives attack and arts to the party, which can be very, very useful. Now, I'm using Summer Musashi, not because I think she's the best person for this, but it's because Summer Musashi just has this stigma that you can't use her for anything. You can't bring her to 90 plus content because she doesn't have a battery. But I'm here to kind of remind people that no, Summer Musashi has insane looping refund. Her second skill is so broken as a refund mechanic that it allows her to even get through these 90 plus nodes if she's the only servant you have. You know, yeah, Space Ishtar, Summer Kama, they're very nice because they do have those 50% batteries. It's a huge fallback plan that they can kind of use, but you can still get by even if you have to use someone like Summer Musashi who does not have a battery. So I'm bringing her for that reason, because even though it's a 213 node, she still refunds about 70% of her NP back. And the fact is that we're starting with this starting charge CE that we don't have to use all of our Castoria buffs. Now mine is a little bit better off because I appended my Summer Musashi over here. So she starts off at 50% and only needs this Castoria. But the fact is, I've already done a couple of test runs. She does at least loop back 70%. So if your Summer Musashi is maybe not as append skilled and everything, which, by the way, appending doesn't cost you anything. Going from append 1 to 10 does, but unlocking it just costs you your coins. If you're not planning on grailing somebody to 120, unlocking that append skill battery can definitely help you out in times like these. But you might have to use, say, like Castoria's second skill, but you can still preserve one of the skills going into the third wave, and I'm going to kind of demonstrate that in this video. Again, you could also sub in someone like a waiver, like say you don't have Summer Musashi, who is like better for looping, but you do still have Space Ishtar. You could probably still make it work with waiver. And the fact that you just have so much NP going around, and realistically, you just need to loop wave 1, and then if you can get your battery back, you're absolutely fine. Even if you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel, maybe you're using Odysseus or something, you know, you're using someone who only has a 30% battery, but they're the only, you know, AoE arts rider you got, you could still be fine, because there's a little bit of leeway in the fact that using these art setups that are at least predominantly arts cards focused, you do have the opportunity to get a free 20% on the second wave if you're really scraping the bottom of the barrel. Now, I was going to try to make a quick setup work for this one, but it didn't really seem worth it because I don't really know how many people are really out here trying to quick loop the 90 plus nodes, but if there's enough demand, I'll make it work, I suppose. But here's another thing that people also need to remember. So we're going to go ahead and just drop all of our buffs onto our Musashi over here. Now, keep in mind, she would be lacking 20% NP, and so normally, if you had, you know, not done the append skill, you would need to drop the NP gain skill right here, and I'll just drop that just to kind of show that that's what you would do. But you'll see we still have our 30% battery skill over here ready to go. Now, some people would say, oh, we got to fire this right now, you know, because we got to get Ryoma up there. But Ryoma doesn't need to fire his NP right now. So we don't even have to touch that. We don't have to waste the battery. We can be a bit more smarter, right? We can go ahead and pop, say, his offensive buffs over here, give those to Musashi. Sure, maybe your looper needs a little bit extra damage. She's not, you know, NP2, like full disclosure, mine is at least NP2, but maybe you don't have a higher NP unit. Maybe you need the extra support. By all means, fire those immediately, but you can save the batteries. You know, when you start going into these 90 plus, and especially the 90 plus nodes, these units that are able to share battery with each other become, I think, super indispensable the more free to play that you get. You know, someone like Castoria becomes a much better investment over, say, someone like Koyenskaya, Scotty, all of them, because they have these split batteries and they really let you micromanage how you're going to make it through these nodes. I mean, look at that. Yeah, we got 91% of our NP back. And the testing where we didn't use this in some of the other videos that I'm not going to put up because I wanted to actually show that you don't need the second skill to be just ready to go. In that, you know, they're perfectly fine. Like, you can still get your NP back. You get 70%, but if you do pop it, you do get up to, you know, 91% as you're seeing right now. Now, see, then we could just go ahead and pop this skill right here, get our 10%, and we're ready to go. Now, full disclosure, Ryoma can kind of still struggle with this guy over here. Mine is only 617 because I don't really want to waste bullets. Full disclosure, I don't really want to use the bullets that I have because Koyenskaya took a lot of the ones I have. So it can get down to a little bit of RNG with Ryoma over here, but that's where you can always sub in a different rider. Like, let's say you really invested in your what's his name, Mandracarta. Like, let's say you've really invested in him. If you just did his append skill to 20, doesn't matter that he has a battery. If you grailed him to 100 and he's really strong, he can still get it done. Because remember, you're starting off with 30%. If you append up to even the first append skill, not even all the way up to 20, but just they start off with 40%, the double Castoria gets them to 100. Now, you do have to append all the way up to skill level 10 to start at 50 if you want to use someone like Waver, because you'll just be a little bit shy if you're using Castoria Waver, because that's only 50% for the party instead of 60, you know, just simple math and whatnot. But I'm not going to go ahead and pop the attack buff just to kind of cheat. I'm hoping that Ryoma will lack a little bit just so I can show that you do sometimes need like face cards if you're going to be using a Ryoma that's not like super heavily invested in. Again, I specifically am saving bullets. It's something that Koyenskaya really took from me that I haven't had a chance to really recover from. Okay, there we go. 115, a little bit shy, but look at that. Like, one face card gets it done, right? Like, one face card is able to get it done. If you find one or two of your Ryoma face cards, he should also be good. And then from here, just going to signify that we're just going to use the plug suit attack over here just in case you have, say, like a weaker looper. You know, I'm pretty sure my Musashi can get it done, but not everybody's got an NP2 Berserker Musashi. So you're probably going to want to save your attack and NP damage buff over here for when you get to this final node. But again, just the point of doing these videos is to show that even if you don't have double Koyenskaya, you don't have Oberon, you don't have all these like crazy units, you can still get them done. I mean, like, even there, like, look, dude still lived a little bit, but you're still able to get it done. That's the point. Like, as long as you're able to get the looping done, because living on 7k literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's any face card. Even an arts card from Castoria can clear 7k. So as long as you're able to get close enough, you're able to get in that range, you're going to be absolutely fine. You can just start going ham taro on this Lotto. Also, keep in mind, maybe you farmed harder than I have. I've been using the Atlas Academy Mystic code with my Morgan to try to level that one up. I have not leveled up the new plug suit that we've gotten. So maybe your new plug suit is level 4, level 5, and you don't really have that variance that I do, right? Like, take advantage of the effort that you've put into the game and your strong points on your account and use this as kind of a guide, because dog, if you were to ask somebody, be like, oh, can you use Musashi in 90 plus nodes? Most people would tell you no without even trying to attempt to make it work. But as you can see right here, it works pretty fine, right? Like, you might need quote unquote face card RNG, but getting one enemy down to 15k is literally any two face cards, and then getting somebody down to 7k, literally any face card. Maybe not a single Castoria quick card won't get it done, but there's always going to be another face card following that one. You know, it's not just going to be one Castoria quick card. Like, maybe that's the only thing that can't do it. So I hope this is a little helpful for some of you guys. I hope it's helpful in showing you how you can kind of still get things done. I will still obviously drop another guide once the third part goes ahead and drops, but again, you can get creative. You know, again, maybe you don't have Berserker Musashi, but you have Space Ishtar, you have Summer Kama. That 50% battery, you can put in a lot of work with that one. So just work smarter, right? Just work smart and you can get things done. It's not all that hard. If you need help, we got a Discord in the description down below, or you can go comment down below. Come to me on stream and I will help you out. If you're like, hey man, I've only got Odysseus, I'm trying to make it work. Let's talk about it. You know, let me help you out, because everyone should be able to go absolutely ham taro on this lotto and not be stressing about their box not being good enough. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.